Hi everyone, it's Kelly and Sheryl with the Sheryl and Kelly Show. And I'm Kelly from Tutoring Tips for Teachers. And Sheryl, tell us about yourself.
Yes, I'm right here. I'm Sheryl from Tutoring with Sheryl and the Tech Coach for Tutors at the Tech Hub for Tutors. And we are here to talk all about your program, Tutor Buddies.
Yes, we can start by talking about the Tutor Buddy. So today is February, I'm just looking at the date on my computer, February 4th, and Tuesday, February 4th. So we are meeting tomorrow, which will be Wednesday, February 5th, 2025, for people who are watching this in the future. I'm sorry you missed the event, but we are meeting tomorrow for our first ever Tutor Buddies meetup because Sheryl and I meet once a month like this, and we just chat about tutoring and share ideas. And for people that don't know our story, we started basically at the same time. We left the classroom around the same time. We started our business around the same time. So we're at a very similar place in our tutoring journey. So it's nice to meet up with somebody who's at the same place as you, right? So who's not like way ahead of you, that's been doing it for so many years and you're just starting out, or who's just starting out and you've been doing it for a few years. Like we're equals in this. So we can really share ideas, and I found it so helpful. And I think that everyone needs a tutor buddy. So that's what this event is all about. So we're going to meet up, and it's the first time we're ever going to be doing this. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. But I'm visualizing a nice meetup on Zoom. It's a live meetup. It's not going to be recorded. So I'll share the link below to register for the event if you're watching this today, because really you have to register soon. But I'll share the link to register. So we're going to meet up live on Zoom, and we're just going to introduce ourselves to each other. We're going to have a chance to connect in the chat, and maybe you'll meet somebody there who is someone that you want to connect with, and you'll be like, that person tutors the same kind of thing that I tutor. They're around the same place in their journey. Let's connect and meet up, and we can share ideas, share resources, and have regular meetings and touch base with each other, be accountability partners. There's so much that you can do. So it's really just sort of like a pretty open-ended networking event where people can just meet each other and connect, and hopefully find a buddy that they can share their tutoring journey with. And that's what it's all about. And you're coming too, right, Sheryl?
I am. And, it
Yes.
just makes me think of all of our monthly chats that we've had over the last couple of years and how beneficial it has been to sit down with you. And you and I usually spend about an hour on just a call like this. And we talk about, things that we've been doing with our families and things that have been happening in our tutoring business. And, we both kind of tutor just a little bit differently because you have a space that you can go to. And my space is right here in my office. But I always learn from you. And I'm always like so inspired. It just, every single time we meet, something comes from that meeting. And then before we leave, I typically will say, well, what's your goal for this month? And you'll be like, well, I think I'm going to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, I don't know what mine is. Maybe I'll try this. And sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't. But I think that's the beauty of it. It's just having the open dialogue. And I think the big key here is to be vulnerable, you know,
Hmm.
because you don't have to have all the answers. Uh, it's really about feeling connected with a group of like-minded people, and then also being inspired and getting ideas or thinking outside of your little box because you're in a very populated area and I'm in a very rural area. So, and you also tutor very young readers, and my readers are like second through sixth grade. So that the commonality is the reading and then like that second grade age. But so you're working on very fundamental skills like just completely introducing the alphabet and all the sounds and all of that. And then I'm working on, okay, anybody that didn't get that, I'm filling in that gap. And I learned from you. I learned these cool strategies. And, we talk about marketing and blogging and newsletters. And, we've even hosted events together, a couple different times. So, sometimes people have shown up and sometimes they haven't, and that's okay. And we both had our different reasons for leaving the classroom. But we both put ourselves out there and took a risk. And I think that's what we are as educators, especially tutorpreneurs. We're willing to take the risk and try something new. But it's also that safety net that I know that if I have a problem, I mean, how many times have I messaged you and said, "Hey, Kelly, what do you think?"
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah, the
brutally
same.
honest with each other.
Yeah, it helps so much. You're right, Cheryl. And I like how you pointed out that you don't have to be exactly the same. We're at the same in terms of time, like we're at the same place in our tutoring journey. But yes, you're from a rural community. I'm from a big city, so we come from very different perspectives, and that's really helpful. So you could meet a buddy that lives like in one country, maybe you live in another. We live in different countries too, by the way. So it doesn't matter. Like you could live on opposite sides of the planet, but you get those different perspectives from one another, and you'll be able to support one another because you're at the same place, right? You're journeying on this together. You're on the same path. So you can support one another and learn from one another, which is really that's what I'm hoping will come from this event, that people will find that connection for themselves and have their very own tutor buddy, which will be pretty awesome. Or Cheryl's upcoming training on Google Sites, which is very exciting. Tell us about that, Cheryl.
Yeah, so I run a membership for tutors called the Tech Hub for Tutors, and my members get to come to all of my trainings for free. But once a month, I try to develop something that I open up the doors for everybody. And I know one of the big hurdles that I had when I first started tutoring was building a website. And so I had been using Google Sites in my classroom, but I didn't think it was like SEO friendly, like search engine optimization friendly. And so I decided that I'm smart. My daughter's in marketing. She can help me run a WordPress site. Well, after a year that and actually it just went off the air. It's no longer, it might still be out there. If you go to midwesttutor.com, you might be able to find it, but I got rid of that one. And I rebranded myself on Tutorbird with tutoringwithcheryl.tutorbird.com. And I'm going to keep that one. That one's going to stay there. But I kept thinking, why aren't I using Google Sites? It's free. And the other thing is that you could do so many cool things with Google Sites. And I'd already used it as like a private website for like each year I'd build a classroom website and I'd post pictures of my students and videos, but only the parents could get in there. And then I would say, please do not share any of this information on Facebook. This is for our classroom. And then like we do a science experiment and the kids are all excited. I'd be posting pictures on there. Or we do have somebody special come into the room to do an interview and then I would videotape it and I would upload it to the website. During it was like during COVID. And so the kids could go there and they could watch, that. But I continued that on past that point too. And parents really liked it because they had access to it. And I was the only person who could like invite people to it. So, I mean, it was like totally private, but you can make a Google site public. And once you publish it, then you can share it all over. And just like your own website, you might put it out there, but sharing it is going to make it kind of show up faster in your Google searches. So I'm going to give this training out there to people. Clearly, if you're in the Tech Hub for Tutors, you get to come for free, but the training is $30 US. You get access to the training video for 30 days and you get lifetime access to the directions that I've created in Google Slides. So yeah, that's what I'm.
That's great. That's great information about the Google Sites. And you just gave me an idea too, Cheryl, how you can use the private Google site, like for your students. Oh my gosh, that would add so much value to a tutoring service because I'm always thinking like I want to take pictures and share them with parents, but I'm so nervous about that because it's so drilled into us in the school, right? That you have to be so careful with privacy and information, which is good. Obviously you do, right? And don't use this app and that app and all this stuff. But if there was a way, so I'm always very like I see other people sharing pictures of their students on Instagram and all that, which is fine if you're because maybe you have permission to do that and you feel comfortable with it. But even when I have permission, I'm still like, oh my gosh, I can't share pictures of kids. So I like the idea of having a private, secure site where you can share it with just parents and they can see what's going on in the classroom and get that visual feedback. I love that. So this is
Yeah,
great.
it's really, really safe. But I was right before we pushed the record button, you were talking about your courses. and how you're going to be building out a new course for tutors. Are you ready to give a little hint to the viewers about what you're thinking about doing? You don't have to give it all away, but let's build some excitement.
Okay, I'll give a little teaser. Well, I have, as you know, I have 3 courses right now on the Tutoring Tips for Teachers website, which I'll link below. And those courses are going away. So after this week, they will no longer be available because I'm cleaning up that website to make room for the new course. So if you want to purchase them, if you've been like sitting on the fence about it, do it this week because after this week they're gone forever. So there's the course about how to get students from Facebook, there's a course about how to do group tutoring, and there's a course about how to determine how much you should charge for tutoring. So check those out. They're going to be gone after this week, and we're making way for a brand new course that I'm designing for those teachers who are just starting out in the tutoring world. I get so many people joining our Facebook group who are our classroom teachers who want to start tutoring, but they just don't know where to start. And that's why they join the group. So I want to make this course for them, like a really practical, um, hands-on, like really practical, realistic, action-orientated things that you can do to get your business started. But not only that, I want to tell everyone like the real truth about it because we've been in this for about 3 years now, Sheryl. So we know we've just gone through this process. We've made lots of mistakes and we've gone down lots of wrong paths and learned lots of lessons. So I want to include all of that in the course because I think there are some things that people don't often hear from other like tutor coaches that I see on YouTube and stuff or in Facebook groups. They don't often hear, and I think that it's important to know certain things when you get started. Like, for example, like you don't have to charge by the hour. That's going to be one of the key points of the course. Another thing is that it's a really good idea to set up a stream of passive income or some other income stream that complements your tutoring business, like selling digital products, worksheets, workbooks, online courses that are passive. Like they have this on OutSchool. If any for people that are on OutSchool now, they'll be familiar with those like passive courses that they have where people self-paced. That's what they call self-paced courses. So maybe creating something like that where your students can take it's a like a lower priced service that you have, but students can take it on their own time. There's so many things you can do to create other sources of income, and we were talking about this before because you go away to visit your family, you get sick, something comes up, you have to cancel your tutoring on your students, you're not going to get paid, they're going to miss out on those lessons. It's nice to have something that you can offer them where you don't necessarily have to be there, but they still get the learning in and you can still make an income. And of course, the most obvious version of that is to hire other tutors to help you out, which is another thing I'm going to mention in the course as well. But that's not the only thing you can do. So it's good to when you're becoming a tutor, like I love tutoring and tutoring is great, but maybe like don't fully rely on just that income of selling your time for, working with 1 hour for a student here, 1 hour for a student there. You need to think a little bit bigger than that to really make it sustainable. So that's one of the things that I feel like nobody told me when I was starting out. Did anyone tell you this, Sheryl? Or did you have to learn
No.
that the hard way?
I no, and I'm still I mean I still aspire to do the things that you do. I really do believe this is in my heart of hearts that if I had a physical location, I could do more of the things that you talk about with your group tutoring. I'm sure it's possible online, but I've only had one successful round of that and I'd like to emulate it again. So I have to really figure out what is that going to look like. But yeah, I've taken your courses. They're so good. And so I already know that this new course that you're going to make is just going to be phenomenal. It's just going to be great.
Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah.
I hope so. And I hope it just really helps I really hope it really helps those teachers that are just starting out who are in the same place that we were 3 years ago and gives them more information and a different perspective and the perspective that we have as people who have just gone through it And I'm going to tell you things that I wish I would have done that I'm doing now, but I wish I would have done them when I started. And hopefully it's going to help a lot of people. And that course is going to be a low cost course as well. So it's not going to, because I know, when you're just starting out, you don't want to spend a ton of money. And that's another truth that I wish I was told when I first started out. You don't have to spend a ton of money on this and that. Like, you don't really have to spend any money at all. But if you want to get these tips and this, this kind of roadmap, this really practical roadmap, you'll be able to get it at a really low cost. So that is coming soon. I'm working on it. I'm working as fast as I can to get it done for you. And that's going to be up on the Tutoring Tips for Teachers website soon. And we'll link that website below. And we're going to link your website below as well, Sheryl, so people can sign up for the Google Sites training, which is going to be really amazing. I
Thanks.
think that's
Thanks.
going
It's
to be
it's
so
it's
helpful.
actually it's this week too. So it's Thursday.
Oh,
So yeah.
Thursday. Oh, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Busy
This
week.
Thursday. Yeah. What is that? Is that the 6th? Yeah, I
Yes,
think
I
that's right.
believe
Yeah,
so.
the 6th. Yeah. And then I think I'll
Good.
probably just have it out there to like run on autopilot after that. But the live workshop where you can come and ask questions and you get the behind the scenes, you get the like the real like picture when you show up to the live event, because when you ask a
Yeah.
question, then I can go in and be like, "Oh, well, let me show you how to do that." And I don't think people realize that. I mean, I like literally do that. I might record a
Mm.
portion of it, but then after the recording, then I'll say, okay, what else did you want to learn? Well, would you show me how
Wow.
to do this? Well, as for it, this is actually a real thing that happened. Gosh, I can't remember even what it was. I opened up something I did a training on something. I wish I could remember what it was, but it was similar to this. I think it was on whiteboarding. And then I had a gal stick around and she said, well, can you tell me how to teach whiteboarding? And I was like, teach whiteboarding. And I said, well, let me just open up a whiteboard. And so I just opened up I was using Google Meet at the time. And so one of the apps that I have on there is Figma's whiteboard for educators, a Fig Jam. So I opened it up and I shared it with her. And what it really came up to is she just didn't understand how to like teach it to her students. And I said, well, it's like anything
Mm.
else, it's gradual release. So, if you're working with primary kids, little kids, they're not going to do anything with the whiteboard. You're just going to use that as a tool. But, once they get a little bit older, for me, especially my group of kids, they want to be doing something. So, you teach one thing at a time and it's gradual release. And so the way she worded it wasn't really what she was asking for. She wanted to know how a teacher would teach the student, but that her question in the chat was, well, how do you teach it? And that was so wide open, I didn't know. So we went after the training or after the recording, we went in and we dove into that. So sometimes there's just those questions that you don't know how to word, or there might be this feeling of failure, like, oh, well, I don't want to admit that I don't know how to do that. Guess what? I didn't know how to, we all started with no knowledge and we build by
Yeah.
practice, and failure is part of learning. So there aren't going to be any questions that are silly or that maybe I haven't heard before. And the same for you,
Yeah.
Kelly. When people ask a question, you might see the same question popping up over and over and over in your Facebook community, but that's because everybody's at a different point. And
That's
so we're
right.
just we're just here to support people on their journey. And so you're really talking like you're building a business and I'm helping them with like the technology if they're tutoring online or they want their website or they're trying to figure out their communications portion, because that's part of it. But really just understanding even just how to tutor, getting that business off the ground, telling other people about it, knowing what you're trying to teach in the first place. Because gosh, you remember getting this started, and we're classroom teachers. I mean, we taught everything.
Yes, that's
We
a key point to it. That's a key point. Yeah, it's so hard to choose one thing and focus on that. Because you'll get
Yeah.
FOMO. You'll be like, oh my God, I should be teaching math and science. And oh boy, look at that person over there doing a STEM program. I should do it too. But you can't. That seems really easy to say, just focus on one thing, but it is not easy, especially for elementary teachers. Not easy at all. So that's a
No, and
very good point.
we want to help everybody. We want to
Yeah.
help everybody. And then I do want to go back to your tutor buddies here just for a second because I went to a networking event that was not sponsored by you. It was sponsored by somebody else. And I ran across an individual who was working with really children who are very autistic that are even to the point where they're nonverbal. And I don't
Mhm.
have any of those students in my practice, but if a parent would reach out to me and want services, I now have that person in my network to say, I met with Rob and he seems like a nice guy and he's got his own child is like this and he's got counseling services and behavioral services and, he's the expert. I would like to share his name and phone number with you. You can interview him and figure out if he's the right person for you, or maybe he can send you on to somebody else. And I think sometimes parents think that they have to go through just like their local doctor for recommendations. But when we're working and we're meeting these people, there could be somebody else out there. So just always ask. Just ask. I mean, people have contacted me for biology help. I don't do biology, but I have people like in my network that I could say, well, I don't know them very well, but I have a name of somebody that if you'd like to reach out to. So I think this networking is really powerful because it shows that number one, you care. And number two, you have relationships with other people that aren't just in your niche. And it's so helpful to parents. So helpful.
It is. No, you're right, Cheryl. Networking is a really key thing. And I learned that there's actually have a YouTube video about that. I'll find it and I'll link it below. I learned that pretty early on, like totally by accident. Because again, that was another thing nobody was talking about. But networking is key, and some tutors don't even have to advertise because they get all of their students from networking. And I mean
Yeah.
like, and they do very well. So that, like, imagine that if you never had to post anything on Facebook or have a YouTube channel or anything. I'm not saying that's going to happen for everybody, but for some tutors it does happen, and it's 100% networking, and that's where they get all of their students. So you don't want to miss that step. Like, it's really, really important for so many reasons, to refer parents to other people, to share ideas, to get students for yourself. Like, it's just so important. And if you're not connected to other tutors, it's I don't know if it's going to work. It's you have to be like, this is a we're not in competition with each other. This is a community. We're here to support each other, to share resources. There's more than enough students for everybody. Like, we have to be connected in order to succeed. I personally believe that's what I've found in my business. And I think you
Yes.
found that too.
Yes, absolutely. As
Yeah.
a matter of fact, many of my students have come as referrals. I'm probably, if they didn't find me on Facebook by doing or a video that I posted somewhere, they were referred to me by somebody else. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's really important to nurture those relationships for sure.
It is absolutely. Well, I'm glad I have you in my network.
Me too.
Well, and I'm glad we've had our wonderful monthly tutoring chat, and we've been able to share it with all these other tutors all over the world. And I hope that people will go to will definitely take advantage of that Google Sites training, because that is a really good one to know, and that's really incredible value that you're offering that training and all that personalized coaching for only $30. So don't miss that.
Thank you. And I can say on a side note, Kelly, that if they don't want to pay the $30, but they want all of my other trainings on top of it, for $25 a month, they can be part of the Tech Hub for Tutors. They don't have to come to the live training. They can watch it and then they can shoot me a message and then I'll hop on a meeting with them and help them problem solve. So, yep, there's
That's
that too.
amazing. That's amazing. That's a lot of value. A lot of value. And learning about the technology side is so important too. It's really important for tutors. So I hope that we'll see you at the Google Sites training and at the Tutor Buddies
Tutor
meetup.
buddies. Yep, Wednesday
Yeah.
nights on my calendar. I'll be hopping in after I'm done tutoring that night. So I'll be there.
Yes. Yes. And if you missed this one, if you're watching this in the future, we'll have another one. So join the Tutoring Tips for Teachers Facebook group. Keep an eye on that. Sign up for I'm gonna offer my free ebook in the description box below. So if you sign up for that, it's free. You can hear the story of how I started tutoring and get some tips for how you can start your own business. And then I'll be able to email you about when the next Tutor Buddies meetup is. So I'm going to offer that below. And Sheryl is going to offer. Do you want to offer anything else, Sheryl? You're going to offer your Google sites. We're going to put your website.
Yeah, we'll just do that, and then they can check it out
Okay.
for all everything that I have available. So I'll make sure that you have my updated links, and we'll just go from there. And I look forward to our
Yeah.
monthly chat. Can't wait to
Yes,
see you
it was
next
lots of
month.
fun. I can't wait either. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the chat.